Hello everyone, today we will talk about why the sky is blue and why is the Mars sky red. A clear cloudless daytime sky is blue because molecules within the air scatter blue light from the sun they scatter red light. Once we look towards the sun at sunset, we anger and orange colors because the blue light has been scattered out and far away from the road of sight. The white light from the sun may be a mixture of all colors of the rainbow. This was demonstrated by Newton, who used a prism to separate the various colors then form a spectrum. The colors of sunshine are distinguished by their different wavelengths. The visible part of the spectrum ranges from red light with a wavelength of about 720 nanometers, to violet with a wavelength of about 380 nanometers, with orange, yellow, green, blue and indigo between. The three differing types of color receptors within the retina of the human eye respond most strongly to red, green and blue wavelengths, giving us our color vision. Tyndall effect. The first steps towards correctly explaining the color of the sky were taken by Tyndall in 1859. He discovered that when light passes through a transparent fluid holding small particles in suspension, the shorter blue wavelengths are scattered more strongly than the red. This will be demonstrated by shining a beam of white light through a tank of water with a touch milk or soap mixed in. From the side, the beam are often seen by the blue light it scatters, but the sunshine seen directly from the top is reddened after it skilled the tank. The scattered light also can be shown to be polarized employing a filter of polarized light, even as the sky appears a deeper blue through Polaroid sunglasses. This is most correctly called the Tyndall effect, but it's more commonly known to physicists as Rayleigh scattering, after Rayleigh, who studied it in additional detail a couple of years later. He showed that the quantity of sunshine scattered is inversely proportional to the biquadrate wavelength for sufficiently small particles. It follows that blue light is scattered quite red light by an element of 4 = 10. Dust or molecules? Tyndall and Rayleigh thought that the blue color of the sky must flow from to small particles of dust and droplets of water vapor within the atmosphere. Even today, people sometimes incorrectly say that this is often the case. Later scientists realized that if this were true, there would be more variation of sky color with humidity or haze conditions than was actually observed, in order that they supposed correctly that the molecules of oxygen and nitrogen within the air are sufficient to account for the scattering. The case was finally settled by Einstein in 1911, who calculated the detailed formula for the scattering of sunshine from molecules, and this was found to be in agreement with experiment. He was even ready to use the calculation as an extra verification of Avogadro's number in comparison with observation. The molecules are ready to scatter light because the electromagnetic field of the sunshine waves induces electric doublet moments within the molecules. Why not violet? If shorter wavelengths are scattered most strongly, then there's a puzzle on why the sky doesn't appear violet, the color with the shortest visible wavelength. The spectrum of sunshine emission from the sun isn't constant in the least wavelengths, and additionally is absorbed by the high atmosphere, so there's less violet within the light. Our eyes also are less sensitive to violet. That's a part of the answer, yet a rainbow shows that there remains a big amount of light-colored indigo and violet beyond the blue. The remainder of the solution to the present puzzle lies within the way our vision works. We've three sorts of color receptors, or cones, in our retina. They're called red, blue and green because they respond most strongly to light at those wavelengths. As they're stimulated in several proportions, our sensory system constructs the colors we see. Response curves for the three sorts of cone within the human eye. When we search at the sky, the red cones answer the tiny amount of scattered red light, but also less strongly to orange and yellow wavelengths. The green cones answer yellow and therefore the more strongly scattered green and green-blue wavelengths. The blue cones are stimulated by colors near blue wavelengths, which are very strongly scattered. If there have been no indigo and violet within the spectrum, the sky would seem blue with a small green tinge. But the foremost strongly scattered indigo and violet wavelengths stimulate the red cones slightly also because the blue, which is why these colors appear blue with another red tinge. Internet effect is that the red and green cones are stimulated about equally by the sunshine from the sky, while the blue is stimulated more strongly. This mix accounts for the pale sky blue color. It's going to not be a coincidence that our vision is adjusted to ascertain the sky as a pure hue. We've evolved to suit in with our environment, and therefore the ability to separate natural colors most clearly is perhaps a survival advantage. A multicolored sunset over the Firth of Forth in Scotland. Sunsets. When the air is obvious, the sunset will appear yellow, because the sunshine from the sun has passed an extended distance through air and a few of the blue light has been scattered away. If the air is polluted with small particles, natural or otherwise, the sunset are going to be more red. Sunsets over the ocean can also be orange, thanks to salt particles within the air, which are effective Tyndall scatterers. The sky round the sun is seen reddened, also because the light coming directly from the sun. This is often because all light is scattered relatively well through small angles, but blue light is then more likely to be scattered twice or more over the greater distances, leaving the yellow, red and orange colors. A blue obscure the mountains of Les Vosges in France. Blue haze and long-time clouds and mud haze appear white because they contains particles larger than the wavelengths of sunshine, which scatter all wavelengths equally, Mie scattering. But sometimes there could be other particles within the air that are much smaller. Some mountainous regions are famous for his or her blue haze. Aerosols of terpenes from the vegetation react with ozone within the atmosphere to make small particles about 200 nanometers across, and these particles scatter the blue light. A fire or eruption may occasionally fill the atmosphere with fine particles of 500 to 800 nanometers across, being the proper size to scatter red light. This provides the other to the standard Tyndall effect, and should cause the moon to possess a blue tinge since the red light has been scattered out. This is often a really rare phenomenon, occurring literally once during a long time. Opalescence. The Tyndall effect is liable for another blue colorations in nature, like blue eyes, the opalescence of some gemstones, and therefore the color the blue jay's wing. The colors can vary consistent with the dimensions of the scattering particles. When a fluid is near its critical temperature and pressure, tiny density fluctuations are liable for a blue coloration referred to as critical opalescence. People have also copied these natural effects by making ornamental glasses impregnated with particles, to offer the glass a blue sheen. But not all blue coloring in nature is caused by scattering. Light under the ocean is blue because water absorbs longer wavelength of sunshine through distances over about 20 meters. When viewed from the beach, the ocean is additionally blue because it reflects the sky, of course. Some birds and butterflies get their blue colorations by diffraction effects. Why is that the Mars sky red? Images sent back from the Viking Mars landers in 1977 and from Pathfinder in 1997 showed a red sky seen from the Martian surface. This was thanks to red iron-rich dusts thrown up within the dust storms occurring from time to time on Mars. The color of the Mars sky will change consistent with weather. It should be blue when there are no recent storms, but it'll be darker than the Earth's daytime sky due to Mars' thinner atmosphere.